Libra, this is your reading for July 2018. We haven't used the Psychic deck, courtesy of Dale Harris, in a while. So, Libra, this is different for you. You've never really gotten the Psychic deck for a reading, a monthly. Welcome.
I'm about to cleanse and just, we're right here by the water right now, the sun and the beautiful marine and just the weather in itself. We're just cleansing. At the bottom, as soon as I opened the tarot, was truth, which is atonement.
Right.
Justice.
Justice, honey.
Wow.
So that's your
what was
card.
revealed. That's
our
Pluto.
Card. Right. Exactly. I'm thinking Pluto. I'm thinking Libra.
It's 20. It's
that
was the second time it popped. It was popping out right then. It just revealed itself again. So that's 20, and I was like,
we all know that I'm a Libra, and I have Libra rising, and I have a lot of planets in my first house.
Lover's card flipped over.
That's something that we've been experiencing lately. You know, the Lover's card has been coming up for Libra recently, just based on what's going on with us all the time. Relationships, we're always dealing with some 6 harmony. This is talking about understanding, right? It's understanding so that you guys can actually like move forward in something, because this is Mercury, and Mercury is about progressions. This is Gemini, and this is probably like a little bit less progressive as far as, you know, the comparison to Virgo, because Virgo is actually getting through the process to get to the completion of something, whereas this is like existing within that energy, right?
Bottom revealing itself, 4 of Swords. All right, so this is your card. This is Jupiter and Libra. So Venus ruling the 6s, and then Libra being here at the bottom. We're talking to you. The cards are talking to you.
Relationships,
like, wow, okay.
Libra. We
no
love
big
that.
surprise that it's relationships. But this is talking about like resting from the expansion or the need for one.
Honey.
In general. Wow. It flipped and dropped down.
It's talking
and then,
about
what as soon as I said that, what happened? The Strength card,
it's talking
8,
about,
revealed itself. That was really powerful.
It's
Did you
talking
catch
about
that?
gaining that little,
that was really powerful.
Gaining that psychological breakthrough. You know what I mean? Because it's like, this is the next time you're getting close to spirit after the heartbreak, after the emotional and the mental trepidation, after all of those thoughts and those things and those conversations and those interactions that have really affected you to a point where it's shaped your thoughts about a relationship that you have been in, right? So there's a lesson that is to be learned from things that have shaped you. It's like you have a better view on the situation. You know what exists within a situation that involves your thought process and your psychological well-being. And it involves another person, could be 2 other people. 6s are about, you know, moving on. They're actually a very beautiful energy. You know, with the 6 of Swords, you're talking about moving on from some mental conflict. With the 6 of Wands, you're talking about moving on from some actual physical conflict that involve other people. With the 6 of Pentacles, which it was so hard for me to even think about what that looked like. The Moon, you're moving on from, you know, a monetary conflict. You see what I'm saying?
What I'm getting from this is, you know, Jupiter being here in Libra in your sign, it's already in your awareness. It came out. We're going to just do a pyramid reading for you, break it down.
Okay.
And the sun is shining there in your awareness. So you are a Libra, so your sun is in Libra.
Right.
And the awareness of the need to rest and rejuvenate is very obvious right now.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you need to be going within, and you need to be quieting yourself as far as your relationships are concerned. You may not be able to go out and connect with as many people, especially some of you really socialite types.
Right. You may not even feel like you want to do that.
Go really inward and like spend that time. And if you know, whether you feel like it or not, some of you, especially because you're Libras, it's your job, right? It's your job to be in the public eye somehow, and, you know, to be this whoever person you are, whether it's PR or music or you're a performing artist somehow, and you've just got to keep the show goes on kind of thing.
Yeah,
and maybe you're going through a relationship issue of some sort, And it could be definitely relatives, or it could be roommates, or it could be your deep love of years. It could be many different things, but it definitely, it could have to do with an establishment, because sixes are talking about establishments as well. It's not just talking about love. You also have a love of, you know, where you go and you work at, probably, and the experiences that you have there, and the people you know, and the reputation you have, and why you do the things you do, and your routine. It's right after 5, right after Hierophant. So it's a very large possibility that something is bringing your attention to this. For some of you, it might be something might be changing. For others of you, it's just causing you to focus in this area, which you all automatically already do, being a Libra, right? Because the scales are such a part of who you are. But now it's saying rest and find real balance in it. So what's going on that's so reckless then around your Libra? Right?
So when I think of like the Lover's card and I think of harmony, this is like harmony within a situation that involves more than one understanding, more than one perception, more than one idea, or more than one way of existing, right? Because when you have two people, then there's like a higher level of consideration towards everything. How is this person responding to me? How am I reacting to them? What do we understand to be true about something that we both share together? What do we understand that we don't believe, you know, that we don't have the same beliefs in? You know what I mean? It's really kind of like the ebb and flow. There's a give and there's a take. And it's a very mature sense of the mercurial energy that Gemini gives, right? Because you can have like that playful energy that's just kind of like back and forth for the sake of being back and forth, and, you know, that sort of like childish flirtation that takes place. But then you get this card, which is a very mature energy, because it actually is a major arcana card, and it's really just talking about letting another person thrive in a relationship with you that you are also thriving in. And if that's not something that's happening, then what are you going to do, and how are you going to move on from that so that you can actually begin to move forward in finding that for yourself, if that is even actually what you seek at the moment. It could be an establishment, like he was saying.
Okay, in your moon, you got the Taurus card, which I just preluded to with like sixes being after 5. So you're working on a progression from your feelings to like your just everyday life, right? So there is a progression that's happening inside of you in a major way from 5 to 6. So you're going to try to move from conflict that you're having, be it lucky or unlucky, be it to do with an establishment or your family, to some type of sense of expansion, maybe a sense of a connection that's deeper with another person. You know, maybe it really does have to do with where you're living, or how you work, how you do this routine. Maybe they come and pick you up from work or something, or, you know, you're discussing some type of travel or communication, or you're looking for a new kind of job, or there's a person, maybe your lover has work for you, somehow connected, they could get work for you, or, you know, it could be anything like that.
Right. It's funny because, you know, this card is the card of Taurus, and we just had a full moon in Capricorn, and so we all are thinking about our place in the world, and, you know, those things that we have established for ourselves, those things that we hold true to what our identity is, right? Because this is Taurus, it's after I am, your identity has been established. Now it's talking about what you have that you can sort of like work with, what do you have to pull from? You know, it's like you need things to be able to survive. So that's really what we're all thinking about. If people have investments, they're thinking about how these investments are helping or hurting them. If people have, you know, jobs instead of careers, you're thinking about how you can have that career that you need. If some of you have been working...
Uranus just shifted into Taurus as well. So you're thinking like, non-discriminatorily about it. This is successful.
Matter of fact.
This isn't successful.
I
should continue. I should not continue. This is helping my family and my life. This isn't helping my family and my life. Okay?
Absolutely. You know, and right now
I'm battling with nature, so if you see me swatting and stuff, I have Gemini rising with a Cancer moon, and so I'm just...
But this is Libra, right? You don't even know.
Son,
you have no idea.
Right, exactly. You have no idea. I'm a Leo, though, so I do love being outside. I was battling. But I can do two things at once, so good for you, Leo.
Right, he has the Venetian vibration.
Venus is sextile to my rising Gemini.
Yeah. You know, there's some conflict within the institution, right? Within the institution of what you have established for yourself. That's the conflict. And you need some kind of leadership presence. You need some sort of like mentoring presence in your life, even if that's just, you know, your frame of mind. That's you allowing yourself to be strong and, you know, practice that like fortitude that you need in order to really make those things happen for yourself, right? Because this is fixed energy. This is something that you want and that you need to have that is never going to change.
Right. Wow, guys.
Libra.
So we're moving on through the reading, and I'm looking at your past. You know, I'll go ahead and say the Psychic Tarot does not normally it does not normally read in reverse.
A lot of people switch them. Yeah, I've seen people
But
do this
when I do cool stuff, I usually say that in reverse, it's usually just like blocked energy. It's energy that you need to exercise. And then obviously some certain things in reverse are even really positive.
Right.
So in reverse, you just got, you know, heart loss and heartache.
Yeah.
So this could mean a lot for a lot of you. This is the second time that your card has come up. You know, even you do have a strong correlation with the 6, but it's more Gemini, even though it is Venus ruled. You are the Justice card, which is 11. But these are your cards too. These are your cards, okay? So this is Jupiter and Libra. And this is Saturn and Libra, right? So these are like straight up. Now tell me, these are really, 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 you know. And so
this card could be considered Venetian with the lovers being there.
Yeah, I did hint at that, but it's definitely Gemini.
With Mercury. She has that connection to Mercury, so there's that correlation.
It's the connection because it's her child. You know, if you study Roman mythology a lot, you know, Venus and Mercury are really like Eros and Aphrodite, right?
Right.
It's really, you know, like Mercury's really Cupid in a lot of ways. You know, you think about connecting with somebody. It's the first initiations of any kind of connection, any kind of relationship. Just the wanting to understand each other.
So this is kind of giving you like a love relationship reading, much like Pisces.
Yeah, this is very love relationship.
Pisces' reading was very love.
I feel like it has a lot to do with self. Which is a very fearful thing for Libra in general, the mirror and self. But, you know, dealing with self, your choices, and how other people affect Libra, because that is a large part of Libra's karma. Why other people affect you and how. And how much you give and why you give that much. And what do you have to learn from giving that much, right? So there's a lot of that goes on with Libra, because it's right before Scorpio, which is the knowing of the scorn, knowing of this thing, right? So it's like Libra has to be going all outside the box in order to even get to this place of being scorned, right? Or being hurt. So the balance is that you are experiencing these things that a lot of people aren't experiencing, and maybe people are learning from your socialite ways. Look at Kim Kardashian. But on the other aspect, you might be a pioneer at something. Virgos are very much pioneers, and you're progressive right after them. So when you're the first to do something or experience something, a lot of times this happens. The idea of heart loss, the idea of, you know, because you're just one person, and when you submit yourself to a relationship, you're always going to be at risk, because that's why they say taking a risk on love. It's always going to be a chance.
You're always considering someone else when you're in a relationship. So you have to like think about all the ways that you're being affected by someone, right? It's your actions, it's the way that you communicate, it's the way that you do things, it's what you say when you say things, it's how you say things. You know, really, communication.
And a lot of it is how they do all those things, right? How they say things, how they communicate, how they blah, 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 blah. Because you are so malleable and relatable that you really do mold a lot, maybe too much, to your partner, unless you have something very strongly fixed in you. You're going to naturally, as Libra, mold to their ways. And so in doing so, you may feel somehow an imbalance. Right, and then there might have to be like some type of fight to get that balance established. And it may not be entirely their fault or your fault, especially if you don't realize the pattern within yourself. So a lot of it is karmic, and this is karmic.
Right.
This is Saturn and
like,
Libra.
It's like you actually won't be able to do much for people who wonder why you do things or why things happen to you, because it's karmic. It's like, it's your Saturn. You're not going to be able to do anything about it. It's what you're meant to experience in this lifetime, right? This is an exalted position, you know, and it's in reverse here. So that's saying that there's like a blockage, and there's like an acknowledgement that's not yet happened, because you might still be stuck in this situation, in this shape of a situation, you know what I mean? So it's like you can't really appreciate what it is that has happened yet, because it's actually still happening, right? You're probably almost at the end of it, yeah, because then you've got the Four of Swords up here at the top, and your identity and your sun position. So it's saying that you know eventually that you will get to that place once you're out of this, right? But now it's like you still have to consider this energy because of a time issue. There's a restriction, there's a blockage.
Saturn does rule time, so it could be definitely something like that. And Saturn is here in your present as well, and the Five of Wands. Now, like with the heart loss, it could say that some of you guys are already doing that. It is a more positive aspect of overcoming this heartache when you know, or it could be just like you are feeling completely like it's such an integrated part of who you are right now that you can't really see an escape from that. That's Saturn as well. It makes you feel restricted. It could be the rings, they're keeping you in or they're keeping you out. And it could be very much borders and restrictions in a good way or a bad way.
It's like a culmination up until like the door that Saturn closes on a situation, right?
And with
it's
the swords being there, it's like you are recognizing it. It's like you, it's mental, you know? So it's like, you know, this is the past, so you know, Libra. I'm not really saying anything to you. You're probably going through it now, or you really just went through it within this past year, maybe even this year, like 2018.
You're like, and there's conflict.
We're halfway through the year already. There's conflict, and you're feeling maybe lucky and unlucky in the situation. Maybe something good happened at the job, but then you lost something in the apartment, or something good happened with the apartment, but then you lost something in the job. Oh, now your lover's acting up. Oh, you thought you could trust this situation. Oh, you got passionate sex again because there was a sex problem, but now, you know, he's snoring at night. I mean, it could be anything, but for a lot of you, it is major when it comes to the relationship issue, because you do have the 6 rising. So it is like all of these things. It's like going into yourself. Especially some of you need to like really experience being outside. It's just serendipitous that we're outside and we chose you. We were choosing between you and another sign, and it just happened to be you. We literally flipped. He's a Libra. He called it. We're doing Libra. I love you guys. And it was just meant for you. Look at this card. It's like your card, and it's outside. Card. We're outside right now.
That's basically what you're doing.
Like,
it's funny because these two cards are like right next to each other, and it's almost like you're in this situation because, you know, I'm a Libra rising, so I feel all this shit. But you're like you're here in the situation. This is like you creating your own atmosphere within this environment to protect yourself, right? It's like your own spiritual like vortex that you've like placed around yourself. That you're in, right? That protective barrier of constant spiritualization of things, you know what I mean? And that's probably one of the lessons that Saturn is teaching you here, because swords are spirituality too, you know what I mean? It's the inspiration. So how are you being inspired on a positive note within all of this heartache and this pain because of the truths that you've realized within this union that you were in, that you actually are leaving? And you're actually going to be, you know, doing a lot better because there's a harmonious energy that comes after the completion of this, which, you know, Saturn has probably got a few more things for you to learn, which is like maybe compacted in one giant experience to punctuate the end of this, you know what I mean, or whatever it is.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm feeling like I just wanted to apologize through the universe to you for whatever it is that you may be experiencing, just because it does have to do with some type of heartache, especially seeing like the 3 of Swords there, and seeing the Lover's card, and seeing the Wisdom card, which is the Hierophant, which is always talking about commitments, ritualisms. This is your emotions are thinking about Taurus energy, Moon and Taurus, which is exalted as
Right,
well, both
right.
exalted positions in your present. So you're thinking about how these ritualisms affect your emotions.
Right.
Literally, something you used to always do, you're not doing, or something, or a ritualism you created with someone, be it work or a routine or a sexual thing or any kind of like study or whatever.
Right.
Whatever it is, it's changing
Right.
up.
Right.
And the change up is like really kind of like causing you to feel restricted just with
Right.
Saturn being there.
You
might
are.
even feel competitive with like another person. There could be you making choices between lovers or them making choices between you. And you're really wondering if you're good enough for a situation, or maybe there was a certain amount of attention that someone was getting, especially if it has to do with like a Gemini or another Libra, because I'm seeing like a lot of air here.
Yeah.
So there could be another air sign involved for sure.
Right.
Or you could be thinking about a Taurus as well, with the Moon in Taurus being there. It could be
Right.
literally like a Taurus.
Right.
in
Some
your
of you
life.
could have conflict with a Leo, actually. It could be Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It
doesn't
could be.
have to always be the Sun sign.
Yeah, it could be. Well, with your present sign being here too.
And you have the 5 in your moon.
With the present situation,
Right.
you've got, this is Saturn in Leo.
Uh-huh.
So that's in your present. So you could be feeling very competitive somehow.
Right.
With a Leo,
Right.
or with like the idea of
Right.
just whatever you're
Right.
producing somehow.
Yeah, you could feel like
know?
the odds are stacked against you right now, and just because of this energy is influencing you heavily, you know. But I mean, you do have this position of the Hierophant, which is the wisdom card in the moon, and for a Taurus to be in a moon position, that's a nicely exalted position in a reading. But it is talking about how your emotions are being influenced based on whatever your hardships are, you know what I mean, and how you have like, how those things have sort of been like set for you, right? You're like, wow, I've been experiencing these hardships, and this is like a way of living for me. I need to change this.
I mean, these are karmic lessons with Saturn being
and it affects
here.
everything. Work,
These are
all of it.
lessons that you may, this might not be the first go pony with this type of situation. Some of you may actually be feeling like, how do I find
When it's
myself in a
over.
similar situation like this all the time? Or I find myself in a situation where, you know, I'm the person who's at the bottom of the scale or at the top of the scale in the relationship. When it ends, it's always like this for me, or it plays out this way. And so Saturn could be teaching you something to do with that, definitely. Feeling lucky and unlucky in that way. And definitely it's teaching you with Mars and Cancer in the future that you are going to have to express your emotions more. Like some of you are very like timid with your partner, because after Virgo, that need for perfection, you're very much trying to always have this balance with your mate, and maybe you're compromising too much, and there's more of a need to really express how you truly feel and how everything is affecting you in the home life and the evolution of self. Like there's going to be aggression that you have to put into that, and it might have to do with a third party, especially getting back to yourself. Remember, this card did reveal itself, fell out, you know, after the four of Swords did. Okay? All right, let's see what's going on in your anxieties too.
Yeah, I also feel, wow, that's a progression. I feel like with the 3 of Cups sometimes too, you know, you're sort of right, yeah, exactly.
Saturn is everywhere.
Saturn came out, I told you.
And then the Temperance.
So
okay.
I feel like, you know, with this 3 of Cups here, Mercury and Cancer, you're really taking a high consideration into like how you communicate your emotions with others, you know, post having this experience. And I feel like, you know, this experience might have had you openly communicating your emotions, but it could have been like there was conflict because, you know, you were being met with conflict within those choices that you were making. And it wasn't actually effective, because if only one person is actively seeking balance in a relationship and the other person is creating imbalance and destruction, then it's like there's not going to be an active give and take there. So it really is lopsided, you know. So this is actually denoting to, in the future, being able to even be on a higher level of emotional understanding and existing within your emotions and being able to actively express those the time that they need to be expressed.
Yeah.
You know, and
this is a very creative card. So it is about expression and expression of feeling.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, maybe
artistry, maybe.
Yeah, you could be getting back to, because Temperance, I hate to skip ahead, but I'm seeing a correlation here with Temperance as the outcome that this could very much to do with you getting back to your career or getting back to some version of yourself.
In the industry.
Maybe you were like compromising too much for a person, or you're single and you could meet the love of your life somehow within like some type of long-term, like something that you do. Maybe you're good at something that you do, whatever it is that you do that you're good at, and you're going to put more energy into that emotion or that creativity,
right.
And it may produce like it's going to change things up for you because you're having a lot of anxiety right now.
That's like at the core of the reading, you know what I mean? Like the top of the reading is really sounding advice on like promoting harmony in your life. You know, it's like harmony within yourself, because once you establish harmony within yourself, then you'll actually be able to acknowledge harmony in other people, because you know you'll know what it is. So then it's like you won't be fools, not necessarily fooled, but you won't be wasting your time with people that don't actually vibrate on that same level.
Yeah, or just don't appreciate you, Libra. You know, and you're so fair.
Because you ought to be appreciated.
You will end up in like certain situations where you're always weighing things out. Maybe you're weighing things out too much, getting to a place of Venus and Scorpio where you spend too much time in a situation and it's forcing you out, you know. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned there. So moving on into your anxieties, you got...
you hear the engine?
You hear the engine.
That's forward movement. That's energy.
We're like moving on.
That's horsepower. That's getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Four of Cups.
Blended pleasure.
Talking about, you want to look at it some more here. Four of Cups.
Lord of blended pleasure.
So that's talking about anxieties where you might be reaching a real understanding of a relationship or real understanding of yourself within a relationship. Maybe there was like, because the Truth card was at the bottom, so there could have very well been a reveal. Pluto could have said something, maybe your partner said something, or you said something, or something happened at work and it changed your establishment completely. And now you know something that you didn't know, and there's anxieties over that. It's blended pleasure because you're not in the dark about it, but at the same time, there's still a lot to happen that's going to affect your ritualisms, because you got the Taurus card there in your moon. So these two cards are emotional cards. So one is just your emotions in general, and the other one is your anxieties.
It's getting to like it's getting to like a different degree now, because this is also saying that like you have a better understanding of those emotions, right? The three of Cups, you understand within like celebrations and within like happiness, there's still going to be, you know, some moments that aren't as happy as others, right? That's the anxiety moving forward. You're like, okay, so I know I'm gonna have to deal with, you know, things not actually going perfectly all the time in my relationships moving forward, and that's just saying that you don't want to live in those feelings of the past and have that be something that's actually blocking you from seeing things clearly in the future. Right? Because if this person just turned around and came out of the shadows and into the light, they'd realize all of that abundance and all that joy that's out there waiting for them, right? Don't sit back thinking about someone that doesn't even deserve your thoughts.
Come on, Libra.
About them, right?
Don't deserve it.
They really don't.
Don't have the time. Why? For what? And what have you done for me lately?
Right.
Seriously. Yeah. You need to really get back to this place of evolution, and it's gonna happen. Right, because you've got the 3 and the 4 here, which is like Cancer in general. So 4 of Cups is Moon in Cancer. 3 of Cups, Mars in Cancer.
Mercury.
Is it Mercury in Cancer? No, I think it's Mars, actually. I'm pretty sure it's Mars. Okay, Mercury. He's saying Mercury, so maybe it's Mercury. Maybe it's Mercury, sorry. But if it is, either way, set 4 and 3 equals 7.
Right.
And that's Cancer.
That's still Cancer. Right?
That was the point. That's what I was trying to get to. So, like, yeah, so it's still Cancer. So it's really talking about something that you're dealing with straight up in your home life.
Right. Yeah.
Or with your family. Or with your family in your home life. Or with some roommates in your home life. with like it's straight up affecting your home life.
This is interesting,
you know,
too,
or it has to do with just yourself, like your
Mm-hmm.
body, your temple.
Right.
It could be an ailment that you're secretly going through. Some of you
I feel like-
could be having that as well,
Mhm.
or that and that. I mean,
Right.
it could be all of that.
Right.
You know.
4s are sort of like self-motivated choices that you make, right? Because it's the Emperor.
Right.
And it's
Right, it's very yang.
it's Aries, so
Right,
it's
and it's
really
masculine, and so is
self-motivated.
Libra.
Right.
It's a masculine air sign.
So you're like, and you got some cardinal energy, so you can really work with that. You can work with initiating and understanding where initiations need to happen.
Right.
You know, no matter what element it is that you're working with. But this is really just saying, like, take back your power and you can choose how you process your emotions, right? This is having emotional stability here, right? Because it's like if you're emotionally unstable, then you can't really work as well, right?
Right.
You just won't function as well.
You just won't. And also, like, in your Mars area in this reading, you have Love Begins, which is the Ace of Cups. All right. So this is really symbolic of all the cups. But what else is it symbolic of? It's symbolic of new love and new
Taking
emotions.
back your heart.
So, and this is your aggression. So it's telling you to do it.
Right.
Right. It's telling you, for
That's what
one,
you want.
if you are single and you have somebody in your mind, if it's a Taurus in your mind, or it's a Leo in your mind, or it's a Gemini or another Libra, you probably need to put aggression into whatever that feeling is that you want to like have, or connection that you have with this person. I mean, it could be anybody, but like you probably know, right? Because a lot of the 8 is talking about new beginnings of self, and it's like a lover in your mind and establishments with this person. So I feel like a lot of it is like you might be woke to it and the other person is not as woke to the situation, whatever it is that is going on for you. Right. And like you need to just put aggression into whatever it is that you feel, if it's like moving on from an establishment or moving on from one situation that leads to a better situation.
Right. That's really
like a better lover. Sure. Like this could be even somebody from the past, even just because Saturn is here. Right. So it's like it could be like to do with restrictions and different things like that. It's definitely possible.
You know, this card, you know, in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot.
We're getting all the sun today, Libra. Thank you.
Melanin, honey.
Wow.
Beauty. Okay. So this card talks about moving on to better things. The 6s do. You know, this is saying moving on to harmony with yourself, which is going to invite all of that other energy. And you really don't have to worry about attracting anyone. You're a fucking Libra. Right. It's like, this is watering your own garden.
Right.
This is
tending to
This is tending to your own stream of emotions and your own
major arcana connected to that.
Right, exactly. This
and
is
then
a change
that's
card.
a 9, and then that would be like the epiphany that you would be having, right? That Virgo-like energy that you can get to.
Now you're actually going to listen to all of those intuitive notions that you've had before in the past.
I'm getting the feeling that some of you are concerned with how fast it's going to happen.
Well, yeah, because
you're like it's a time thing. It is a time thing for some of you. Look, the Chariot is look, Libra. I can't. I'm just going to leave it, but. Look, you guys, your cards are showing up. We were talking about Chariot, and it was like I grabbed that card, and then this card was behind it. I feel
like they're talking to us. They're like, yeah, we know. We're aware.
Right.
Look,
it's like, this is like, Cancer energy.
I am gonna win.
There could be a Cancer that could be very helpful right now somehow. Or it's really, really strongly have to do with your home life. There's a lot of like home life, heartbreak, something happened.
I'm a Cancer moon, y'all, so I'm tapping into this.
You know, so there could be a Cancer that might be able to connect you to something that has something for you.
This is the start of this is an initiation or the start, a change that involves a water sign.
There's a lot of Cancer
involves
energy too.
The element of water with another person.
Yeah. Water with another person, right? Because this is a water reading, so we're talking about love. So we're talking about the emotions that you have for another person. Facts.
Right.
Either this is a person at work, a person that you work with, a person that you've worked for, or you've been working on. Like, you know what I mean by working on too. It's like you've been thinking about this person or something, and like you've been working on this, working on it. Like you make sure you're wearing this. You make sure your hair looks like this. You make sure they like this. Then when they think of these memories, you create these memories, and like you know they like to arrive at this time. You're there wearing these things. You know their favorite color is this, and so you wear that color a lot.
this is like a first love type of situation too. You know, when you have the Ace of Cups here and then you have like this here. You know what I mean?
That's
like
kind of like aggression into it. It's your Mars too.
Situation.
So you're, for some reason, even if you're female in this role, it's very yang. You're very yang. Like so, you're very the masculine person in this kind of courting experience, whatever's happening. And it could even be with an establishment. So if it is with an establishment and you're putting resumes out and stuff, it's like you're gonna have to still be more aggressive with it and find new passion in it. And if it's a relationship, then it's like you need to ask them out. If it's been a long time and you feel bored in your relationship and you want to do something new, then you need to tell them we want to do something new. Suggest it.
This card is sort of hinting at that. It's alluding to it, right?
Right. Express your
Mercury
feelings.
Cancer, Mars and Cancer, whatever it is, it's saying express.
I'm starting to feel passionate because it's really
because
clear.
It is getting there.
It's
you know what I mean?
Very clear.
You do have the Three of Swords. You do have the Five of Wands, but then you have these major arcana cards that are here to try to really support you underneath. It's really holding the weight, the density of the situation. It's supporting you. It's saying it's going to break or you're going to be able to get off before it breaks. You know what I mean? And whatever this is that has been troubling you, once you release yourself or once you have released just the situation from your existence, then you will be
because there's evolutions. It's like shedding a shell or leaving a shell behind as a crab and then having something new. In your advice, you've got Saturn, which is a theme. So it's almost like Saturn. Let it happen. It's like let it happen.
Ending,
This is very powerful because every time this card shows up too, I'll be like, look, this card is so powerful. It's on the cover, right? I always talk about that because it's a very powerful card talking about completions. So whatever it is that's ending in this major relationship or in this, it could be even like, it could have been a pupil. It could have been, it could have been, your teacher somehow, or a mentor even, or like a parent,
someone that you respect,
you could have even had to say goodbye to them. Maybe they passed, or maybe there was a divorce that happened and maybe they moved, or you just want to put, it could be that, or it's like you're starting a long distance relationship. Some of you, because Temperance is here at the bottom, so some of you you're going to be doing a long distance relationship, but it's not going to be like anything that you can't do. Definitely possible, because like, yeah, I definitely get that very clearly. Maybe your mate is just moving, and so that's causing a lot of intimidation, and you got to ring in your emotions. Trust, do not trust. Monogamy, non-monogamy, open relationship, closed relationship. It could be like, where's the balance of how much energy do I put into this relationship? How much are you going to put into it?
Because Saturn has taught you guys within this experience, without it being idealistic for you, that there are many different types of relationships, because you've had to consider what your perception of a relationship was, because that's been challenged within this scenario for you.
For sure.
So it's like you actually are a little bit more woke than you were coming in, even though it's been kind of painful for you, because now that you're getting out of this situation, you just feel better about it. Period. You know, and
because it just had to happen. It like happened to you. This is very much it happened to you. Or it could have been something that you did. You could have chose it, but then it got out of control. Or you took this job and then it just wasn't the job you thought it was. Or you did something because of another person. Maybe your lover or your brother or your sister caused you to make this decision. You were in the scenario you wouldn't have been in. This thing happened because they did something and you had to react to it. Now you're getting the repercussions or the consequences
If you're the Libra,
of this situation.
If you're the Libra that this reading is talking about influencing this, inciting this type of energy, because, to be honest with you, I'm a Libra that was in a relationship with another Libra, and that's ending. And this reading is definitely talking about that.
So we did say a lot of air signs to air signs, so Gemini could be involved too.
So it's like that also gives you guys another, for you cross watchers out there who feel like, you could say one thing about a Libra and think that it's true. It's not. And,
one thing I will always say about Libra more than anything, we were just discussing this, was like, it is so important because we always stress looking at the sun, moon, and rising at least.
Right.
I mean, I know a lot of people aren't educated about astrology, but don't just go in looking at these horoscopes wondering why it doesn't relate to you, or this is it. I read this one sentence. Come on, the universe is all part of us. We've got all of these elements
that
within
Libra card
us.
came out and they were talking about a lot.
Right, so you're hating a sign, and then
No.
you find out this sign has a huge placement within your natal chart later. So it'd be just crazy for you to even do that, right? But anyway, that's just like you not being really educated about it, and people who are just kind of nodding and being like, okay, problems, you know.
That's what that is.
But, you know, with your sun, moon, and rising, you have to look at your sun, moon, and rising. So when you're looking at somebody else's sun, moon, and rising, one thing I will say about Libra is it's so heavily influenced by anything else because it's a scale. Anything that you put on a scale is going to move it, right? So looking at, if somebody has a Libra sun, you definitely have to know what their rising and moon are. If they have any Libra anywhere, if they have Libra rising, if they have a moon in Libra, you have to look at the other two placements more than anything, because that is really what's influencing them, especially if there's something fixed involved.
You know, it's funny because Libra is about truth and justice. And, you know, there are like these truths that you uncover about yourself in a relationship that you may have not uncovered before. And then you uncover truths about someone that you probably never knew those truths about them either. So really, it's kind of like once you uncover these truths and you have a little bit more information, like much like a scale, because if some people are always like, is that scale broken? It said that I weighed more than I'm supposed to.
It could definitely be
and
off
you're like,
caliber.
it could be, but like it really is, a scale is calibrated to tell you the absolute truth. And that's a little bit why Libra gets into a little bit of trouble. I was telling somebody about this today. Because sometimes it's the pure truth. Yeah, but sometimes it's a pure truth. And it's like, that really hurts people and it really affects people. And it doesn't really matter how you serve up the truth. If you just give it black and white, this person is going to respond or react the way that they want to.
Right. Well, so and then you get to Scorpio and you learn there are many truths.
Right. And the lesson, the lesson is that you actually can't control anyone's response or reaction. They can only control their response or their reaction. So really you could thrive in actually telling the truth more, because it actually is who you are. It's just the restriction, Saturn being exalted in Libra, is making you feel restricted in being able to share those truths with other people, because you know that the lesson in sharing absolute truths with people is going to bring some pain and some hurt. It just is.
That's the truth in general. That's why Leo and Sagittarius get along with Libra so well. You better find you one. Hopefully you have one in your life, a Sagittarius or a Leo, that can keep you balanced with the truth, because that's something they're definitely really good at. We're getting to the end of your reading here, and at the end it is Temperance. It could be you against the Emperor somehow, right? So that could be you against an Aries, you against a Scorpio kind of energy, especially any kind of like establishments, or it could be like you against something you're building.
Scorpio does have a tendency of being jealous of Libra.
You were building something
that
with
tail. It goes into that star
Libra. I mean, sorry, excuse me. You were building something with a lover. You want to build something with a lover.
Right.
You know, and so it's saying that there's a large possibility that you can attain some type of wish, either an establishment, like I just said that there's a large possibility you can get a wish, and so there you go with the sun there.
This is a lucky card, and this is Lenormand. And this card, basically, I was shuffling the deck. This card presented itself like this, bam. Pull it out, Leo, the sun. This is the light being shown onto your life again, right? You've been re-illuminated after this experience. These cards that are reversed will eventually become upright. The sun's there to support you, you know. This conflict you feel, and being able to really exude your pure energy, your purest energy, Leo, meaning that's the Leo energy. It's supporting it. The sun card is here supporting that Leo energy that you feel is being stifled. Venus is in Leo right now, so wherever your ruling planet is in the zodiac, you want to consider that, you know what I mean? He looks at Mercury, he looks at where the sun is, and that's in whatever season we're in, you know, so it's very seasonal with him. And, you know, yeah.
Absolutely. So this is really positive, right? Because all of the elements are going to affect you so intensely, like I said.
There, but,
And it's really just like, yeah, the sun being there and Leo being there once again. There could be like some Leo energy. Maybe it's something that could be really positive. You could be building something with a Leo, very much so, because of 5 of Wands. And in that thing that's building, maybe there are fluctuations with it. There's positive and negatives.
Right, absolutely. There's always going to be that,
Yeah, because that could be with this establishment, definitely.
For sure.
For some of you, or it could be with love even. You know, like you could be, your mate could be a Leo, or like somehow they have a strong Leo placement, rising moon, and somehow the establishment of trying to build or rebuild with them is challenging.
Yeah,
and it's affecting the home life, and there could be a lot of distrust from the past, especially with the Saturn with Libra here. It's like asking you, what did you learn from the last situation, and how are you going to be able to protect yourself in a situation if you get into one where your heart is involved again? Because this is definitely lessons of the heart, and so is this. Right, because this is talking about heart loss and the mind and how it deals with you. And then here you've got Leo, which rules the heart, and it's the 5 of Wands, so it's talking about fluctuating things, lucky and unlucky. I feel good, well I got this, but I don't got that. Well, we do this, but we don't do that. Well, he does always take me out, but he never calls me and asks me how I'm doing. Well, you know, he does cuddle at night after we have sex, but you know, I can never really get him to listen to my stories. He's not a good listener, you know, or
they say nice
I've never
things,
met his
but they do
parents,
stupid shit.
you know
what
something
I mean? Like that.
Yeah, he tells me I'm the one and all this, that, and the other, but he always talks about his ex. You know, like this type of thing.
That type of thing. That's
it's very 5 of Wands, because it's like, oh, it's up and down. It's not, it's like, it's lucky, unlucky. It's fluctuating, right? You know, you're feeling like competitiveness in the heart somehow. So that would make you feel that way if you were the new girlfriend and you love this person and they keep talking about their ex. It would drive you crazy. So a lot of that is like, especially with Taurus being there, it's like put your foot down, put aggression into your feelings and be like, this is enough. And maybe you can ring it in. The awareness of whatever the situation is could bring balance for you. Like some of it is just like balance, you can't even like you can't even like blame someone. Even it's beyond blame, because there doesn't even matter who's right and wrong. And it looks like a lot of like the person could have been wrong, or it could have just been a situation that happened to you. But either way, it's like the blame card is going to be self-defeating. You have to just be active. Right, 5 of Wands.
That's true.
What do you want?
Right.
Get out there and do it. Mars and Cancer, you know, it's like kind of like these lessons of completion. That's the advice. It's like, look at it as a completion. Look at it as like, yeah, I'm not going back, and I ain't gonna call that person anymore, and I'm gonna start something new, and I'm gonna go to this new thing. And if all of those things happen at the same time, I don't want it to, but if it does, that's what's up. I'm just gonna go with that, because I know that I'm gonna be happy with whatever the changes are. And I'm going to look at myself in another couple of months and be like, wow, that was then.
Right, it's like the hindsight of it all, It's like you guys want this change to occur as soon as they possibly can. But there are some other things that sort of like need to unfold, right? Because it's like the karmic fluctuation of things has to experience the closeout of it.
Yeah, it could be real trepidation of the heart going on right now. I'll use a perfect example of like, we talk about your Leo sister, your Libra sister, Kim Kardashian, and like, think about what happened when she was younger and the whole porn tape thing with Ray J, and, you know, oh, the shame of it, and, you know, already her family was in the public eye, and just, you know, whatever she was going to do with her life, you know, this pretty young girl, after that, she was able to take that, whatever it was, and do even better than Paris did, build basically a platform on it, you know, and be like, okay, you guys want to watch me, you really want to watch me, then you're going to watch me every day doing whatever it is that I want to do with my life. And cut to like 10, 15 years later, we're literally like always on her tit. Like, it's just crazy, right? And like, even when I'm just like, oh, she doesn't really have any talent or whatever, she does. It's a talent to be able to keep up this image. And me, as somebody who has done stuff with acting and in the modeling world, I can really appreciate those things about her. Just the freshness and the initiations of thoughts that she does. Now, maybe it's coming from a place that isn't like the deepest of places, but she's touching people, and I'm sure she has her causes and does her things as well. But she was able to take that pain, because she has some strong Scorpio placements. I've looked at her chart. She was able to take that scorn and she was able to really make that socialite Libra positive thing happen for her. And for that, I really do have respect. As a Leo, looking at a businesswoman, I can really respect her for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, this is a good reading because it's one of talking about...
A bird landed just then.
Yeah, the birds have been
Birds
around.
are air.
They've been around a lot, actually. You know, this reading is just talking about coming out from underneath that rock that you felt the weight of for so long. You know what I mean? And
it could have been because of this person. Maybe you just realized how much energy you were putting into this person, or somebody is like away, maybe a Sagittarius, or there's like a job that's leading you back to someone, and you're gonna get really close to this person in a real way, in a karmic way again.
Right. It's like let things,
or all of that.
Right.
All of that could be happening.
Let the universe guide you and ease you into this change. Right. Be kind to yourself, because you've actually just gone through a hell of a lot. And you want to be able to use that softness of spirit and that like that golden hue of inspiration from, you know, the sun, which is like, you know, just divinity.
Oh, we got so much sun doing this reading just now.
Trust that everything is going the way
Venus is in Leo right now.
Planned.
So know that that's affecting you too.
Right.
I'm a Leo and it's affecting me. He's a Libra with Venus and Leo. So that's like a natal placement for him, me and him both. And like your ruler is in Leo, so it's gonna make you really like think about love and the heart. And like this weather just naturally evokes that out of everybody. It's that season. We're in Cancer, about to go into Leo next month.
Right.
So during this Cancer season, for you, it's cardinal. And Cancer's all throughout this.
Right.
Right? So it's really like, because you are that air, you're gonna kind of like, you're very easily affected anyway. You're so malleable.
You're like,
this season is affecting you this way. It's Cancer season.
It's like how
your house,
Cancer
your
is
emotions.
affected by the emotions, you're affected by thoughts.
Yeah.
And communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there could be a group or an establishment too that's really affecting you. Go ahead and like if you have to break apart and just focus on whatever wish it is that you're having, make sure that you're building the things that you want to build for yourself. Find the balance in that and the energies that you give. And if there's a new love and you know who the person is, you need to just go ahead and put your big boy or big girl panties on and tell that person how you feel so you can get what you want.
There's a sense of expansion with this reading too, because you're coming out of
I think they feel certain ways too.
You're coming out of this and new. You're coming out of this like grown. There's a sense of growth that comes out of this reading. You know what I mean? And growth is painful, right?
Right.
It really is.
Right.
Just like growing through life is painful, right? You think about like a teen or a child's adolescent years when they're having some of the quickest, fastest, most rapid changes occur. It's painful. It's emotionally painful. It's mentally painful.
The discoveries of it,
Sometimes it's physically painful.
But then you know
who you are.
Right? Because there are a lot of lessons here.
All right. Love it. Y'all better work with Saturn. Don't forget, he is Blue is True. At Blue is True on Instagram. I'm NYC Kendrick, and we are Providence Tarot.
You did reveal yourself in the end.
Yes.
I just wanted to show you and prove you to yourself that you will find yourself through all of these lessons.
You go through all of this
through all of this competition, through all of this evolution. Through all of this self-courage, like you just literally have the courage. You have to have the courage.
Right.
So there's a lot of anxiety over whatever it is that you're building.
Right.
And like you can do it. You.
If you guys want a personal reading, email providencetarot@gmail.com. providencetarot@gmail.com. We're in New York, so if you're in New Jersey or you're in New York, Staten Island or something like that, you can come see us in person. Our pricings are going to change probably during Leo season. How appropriate. And
we're expanding, y'all.
Yeah, we're expanding. So we really appreciate all the love that you guys have been giving us.
Thank you guys so much, and I hope, like, yes, this was very helpful for you. We'll be interested to see what's going on in Leo season for you, because Venus is in Leo now, so it's like a prelude, your ruler being in Leo, and then you having Saturn in Leo here. So what things of the heart are coming out next?
Right. Let's think about what's going on now for you, Libra, in this cardinal season of Cancer, and let's think about what comes up next for you in the next cardinal season, which is your season, cardinal air, Libra, and the fall is going to be very significant, okay?
All right.
Bye, Libras.
Bye.